Hello, my name is DeAndre Daniels, and today I will be presenting my capstone project, launching a laundromat in Capitol Hill, Seattle. This is a business solution for a community need. The project will combine market research, industry analysis, and financial modeling to evaluate whether a laundromat is a viable and impactful business opportunity in the Capitol Hill neighborhood. Here's the roadmap for today's presentation. Now, we'll be I'll begin by defining the problem and why it matters. Then I'll review the industry context and trends. Next, we'll move into a market and location analysis. Now, this is going to include population density, renter concentration, income distribution, and transit access. We'll use that analysis to identify and propose site and outline the service model. From there, we'll look at startup costs, operations, break-even analysis, and just a financial overlook. And then finally, I'll discuss the community impact and just kind of next steps. The problem we're solving is pretty straightforward. It's access to laundry services in Capitol Hill, as it is limited and kind of inconvenient. And most housing is in dense urban neighborhood, which is renter occupied, yet many apartments, especially outdated ones, lack in-unit laundry. Now, current options include outdated laundromats or dry cleaners, neither of which provide reliable or affordable service. And this creates a clear market gap. And for a community of thousands of renters, the gap presents both a social need and a business opportunity. Now, I came across an article by Yagula and Sustainability that emphasized how laundromats aren't just about doing laundry, they also function to form collaborative consumption. So this is a way for communities to share resources affordably, sustainably, and convenient. So this kind of highlights why this type of service is important to renter-heavy neighborhoods, such as ones like Capitol Hill. The laundry industry generates $5 billion annually. It's widely considered to be recession resistant because laundry is a basic necessity. Now, the industry is also evolving, and there are new models focusing on technology, integration, and card and mobile payments. This creates opportunities for modern laundromats to outcompete outdated components or outdated opponents. The objective of this study is to determine whether opening a laundromat in Capitol Hill represents a financial viable and strategically sound business. So we're going to use different analysis, including population, income, transit, and zoning, and then make some recommendations. We want to evaluate whether this business can deliver community value by filling that gap that I mentioned before of renters who lack that in-unit laundry component. Then we'll support all this by financial and operational feasibility. Now, for the methodology to answer this question, we will use a combination of tools. We conducted a demographic analysis of the Capitol area, population, renter concentration, and distribution. We mapped and financial models to estimate startup costs, monthly operating expense, revenue potential, and that break-even timeline. So together, these steps provide a holistic evaluation of both the market and feasibility of the business. Now, as I've said, over and over, Capitol Hill is a highly dense population. As you can see, the area is densely populated with thousands of residents living in the relative compact neighborhood. The Capitol Hill shows the light yellow being less populated and then the dark red being highly populated with over the close to the 2,400 block groups. Now, as you can see, majority of the lower east side of Capitol Hill is highly populated. Now, out of that population, we want to see who's renting. And that's where figure 2 comes in. Figure 2 shows and highlights the population that are actually renting in Capitol Hill. Still, we see that the upper east side of Capitol Hill and the lower east side of Capitol Hill is a highly dense renter population. matters because regular jobs are more likely to use laundromat services. Okay, one of the highest renting population in Seattle. Over 80% of households rent rather than own. Now, as we saw in the previous slide, the very east side of Capitol Hill, the middle section that's now yellow and orange was before dark red of population. Now that's because Seattle University is in that section. But again, still very, very dense population and renter heavy. Now, we also want to. Now, figure 3 highlights how diverse community is, with incomes ranging all across the board, from students to service workers and young professionals. Now, the median household, it fluctuates from that 37,000 to well over 120,000. Now, we zoned into Capitol Hill, specifically on the Middle East side, as this is where we are kind of targeting and focusing our efforts on to find that location for the proper laundromat. Now, if we go again further west, or further east, we'll see that that is where the high earning individuals are. Now, figure 9 shows the current competitors. Now, what we see on this, most of these quote-unquote competitors aren't necessarily in the same space that we are trying to be in. Now, a lot of these are dry cleaners, or they're the laundry where you can just drop off your laundry and they do it for you and deliver it. That's not a market that we're trying to get into. Now, our only real competitor is on that far right side, is the Madrona Laundromat. Now, Madrona is the only traditional laundromat, I would say, within the Capitol Hill area, and their prices fluctuate from $350 to $450. However, Madrona's Google rating and their Yelp rating is about a 3 out of 5. It's a low rating. Their customer service shows to be lacking. Now, this is, again, indicates 2 things. 1, demand is underserved, and 2, there's definitely room to differentiate with higher quality, better maintained machines, and there's an overall improved customer service experience. Figure 5 here that I have, this slide highlights just the transit access, as many Capitol Hill residents rely on public transit. Again, being in a large city, there's not a lot of parking, so a lot of people rely on the train on the site where else. We need to make sure that the space is very conveniently located to these lines. This map shows our target area is highly accessible, making it convenient for both walking customers and those traveling by transit. Now, from the different things that we mentioned before, we use all this data to collect or do a sustainability analysis. Now, we conducted this using kind of 5 main variables, and that's the renter occupancy, population density, income, coin operating laundry machines, and then market potential for laundromat users. Now, as we see, again, sticking theme, dark red are the very high sustainable zones for a laundromat. We're looking at this upper left section as a potential, as this is where it's very concentrated, very high foot traffic, as we saw on the slide. And the area we're looking at scored a 0.81, meaning it's a very, very viable location to be successful, to have a successful laundromat in the Capitol Hill area. Which led us to our now site. So this is 1515 14th Ave. It is a space that is available for lease currently in Capitol Hill on 14th Ave near Broadway. It's located near dense housing, access to multiple transit routes, and positions away from the other laundromat and just the other dry cleaners as well. The nice thing is there's parking, and you see in that lower right part of the picture, there's parking right across the street that individuals can use, and on the top right corner, right next to the building, proposed laundromat site, there's actually a coffee shop, which is super convenient for individuals if they need to go just have a coffee, take a break while their laundry loads. Now, we have space and capacity for a lot of units to go in here. However, I want to talk through our service model. Now, our sample service model, we want to focus on a self-service laundromat. So we're aiming to have 15 washers and 10 dryers in this. We don't want to start off too big. We want to start small and then build from there. Each machine will be equipped with the card and cash payment options just to maximize accessibility. And then we'll not offer drop-off boxes as a launch. We'll kind of scale that as it comes. But again, we want to start by maximizing our customer independence and our scalability. This slide is going to go over our startup costs. Now again, as I mentioned, if we purchase 15 washers and 10 dryers, we're doing card payment installations. We're going to have to do a build-out, would be a build-out, including all of the plumbing, all the piping, the electrical signage. We're going to have to do online presence and get some marketing out there. There's insurance, permits. We have a lot that need to be covered. So estimates the total cost to be around $110,000 to $120,000. This page is going to cover just our monthly operating expenses. So these are going to be sticking around just the rent cost, which is for that site like that, is about $4,000 a month. Now utilities and other things are going to come on top of that, and then we have our operating cost about $11,000. Now a revenue assumption is about $6 a load. And then we're trying to get to 150 loads a day. This is a projected monthly income revenue of about 27, but net of debt about 16. And this is all our projections. And then we want to determine from this projection, how are we going to get to our break even? Now, we have those fixed costs that are going to fluctuate from 94 to 11 per month. But these are going to stay flat. If we were to do our average revenue per load of $450 to $6, our break-even point would be around that 1,800 to 2,000 loads a month, which equals about 61 to 67 a day. Now we're probably going to start off smaller than that with 30 to 40 loads a day. But with that, we'll reach our break-even point by year one. Now, this is our ask. We're asking for $160,000 for our initial startup costs. Now this will cover 6 months working capital and reserves for contingencies. Again, everything that goes with the startup. Now, by the end of year one, we're hoping to see that return on the investment and get a profit of about $10,000. Which then scales up all the way to year 5 of giving 120 plus. Now then by then we're hoping to increase the machines, increase our services, but that's kind of the rough estimate or the rough return on the investment within 2 to 3 years. But again, all of this money and all of this efforts are to our community. So we want to expand access to laundromats in underserved areas. We want to really make sure that this space fills the service gap for renters, increases convenience for the residents who don't have washer and unit laundry, and reduces the need for car trips to other neighborhoods. We want to keep it local for the people who are in the community. We also want it to be for people who aren't renters and actually have homes and have things that come up in the area who they need to go to a laundromat for. So this will contribute to neighborhoods, the neighborhood economy and enhance quality of life for thousands of residents in Capitol Hill. So in conclusion, opening a laundromat in Capitol Hill represents a financially sound business opportunity and a valuable community service. The market is underserved, the demand is strong, and the financials are achievable with proper startup funding and ramp-up planning. The next steps include finalizing site negotiations, we want to secure financing, and we want to begin build-out. Now, this project demonstrates that with careful planning and execution, we can meet both a business and community need by creating value on multiple levels. Thank you all.